Rome. October 16, 1972. Wael Zwaiter steps into an elevator. He never walks out. 12 bullets. One body. One message. This was the first documented kill of Operation Wrath of God, the Mossad's answer to the Munich massacre. The order came from the top. Golda Meir, Prime Minister of Israel. She signed each name herself. She was never charged. Never questioned. Never held accountable. That operation planted a seed. A doctrine of targeted killing that would grow into official state policy. But here's what no one asked at the time: who were the real targets? And did the operation actually achieve what it claimed? September 5, 1972. Munich. The Olympic Games. Black September takes 11 Israeli athletes hostage. By the end, all 11 are dead. 6 days later. September 11, 1972. Golda Meir gives the order. Operation Wrath of God is greenlit, a reprisal mission with no legal boundaries and no geographic limits. The man in charge, Zvi Zamir, Director of the Mossad. 1968 to 1974. The mission was simple on paper: find and eliminate the Black September operatives responsible for Munich. The first names on the list were Wael Zwaiter, the PLO representative in Italy, and Mahmoud Hamsheri, the PLO representative in France. The Shamgar Commission Report on Munich, partially declassified in 2012, confirms that Golda Meir personally signed every target list. Every name. Every death. Her signature. On April 9, 1973, Operation Spring of Youth, led by a young aide Barak, eliminated 3 PLO leaders in Beirut. That was the official story. But the official story was never the whole story. The government of Israel has always been clear: Operation Wrath of God was a legitimate response to an act of war. 11 Israelis murdered on Olympic soil. The Mossad acted to protect its citizens. To prevent future attacks. National security demanded it. The official position never wavered. The operations were necessary. They were legal. They were justified. Then the documents started to surface. Declassified files, including the Shamgar Commission Report, painted a different picture. These were not simple military reprisals. They were high-level political decisions. Coordinated. Approved. Signed off at the highest office in the land. The question is not whether the operation happened. The question is what the official version left out. Here's what the declassified documents reveal. And what former Mossad agents confirmed. Wael Zwaiter was shot in Rome in 1972. At the time, Italian newspapers reported it as a settling of scores between Palestinian factions. That's what the public was told. Years later, declassified cables confirmed the truth: the Mossad pulled the trigger. Operation Spring of Youth in Beirut, April 1973. Officially presented as a strike against terrorists. The targets were PLO political leaders. And then there was Lillehammer. July 21, 1973. The Mossad killed the wrong man. Ahmed Bouchiki, a Moroccan waiter, had nothing to do with Munich. Nothing to do with Black September. He was innocent. The Mossad gunned him down in front of his pregnant wife. 6 agents were arrested by Norwegian police. The operation unraveled. But one document remained hidden. A document that would change everything. The evidence is extensive. Declassified. Cross-referenced. Confirmed by multiple sources. Ronan Bugman's book Rise and Kill First draws from over 1,000 declassified sources and interviews with Mossad agents. The number is staggering, more than 2,600 targeted killing operations conducted by Israel since 1948. The Dubai police report on the assassination of Mahmoud al-Mabhouh in 2010 reads like a spy thriller. Hotel surveillance footage. Fake identities. Mossad agents moving through the lobby. The cameras captured everything. CIA declassified cables detail Mossad operations. The intelligence agency tracked Israeli assassination units. The paper trail exists. Viktor Ostrovsky's book, By Way of Deception, written by a former Mossad case officer, describes the operational procedures. The methods. The tradecraft. The approval process. The documents are real. The testimonies are on record. The evidence leaves no reasonable doubt. One detail, buried in a single file, would crack the case wide open. Here's what the evidence proves: the state of Israel turned targeted killing into an instrument of foreign policy. Not as a last resort. As a first option. Approved at the highest level. Golda Meir personally signed target lists for Operation Wrath of God. Later directors, including Meir Dagan, oversaw targeted killings of Iranian nuclear scientists. The pattern repeated across decades. The doctrine was used to eliminate threats to national security. But it was also used against political opponents. Against leaders of organizations classified as terrorist. Against people who never carried a weapon. The available evidence suggests that Israel used extreme methods to achieve its goals. Legal constraints were bypassed. Moral questions were suppressed. One element remained, a truth no one wanted to face. The doctrine is still active. Recent operations against targets inside Iran prove it. The machinery never stopped. The revelations about Mossad operations and the declassified documentary evidence have forced a reckoning. The question of accountability will not disappear. But here's the hard fact: no one who ordered these operations has ever stood before an international tribunal. Not Golda Meir. Not Zvi Zamir. Not Aid Barak. Not Meir Dagan. Not one name on a single target list has faced a judge. The international community now has the evidence. The question is what they will do with it. The consequences of these targeted killing operations are still unfolding. Human rights violations. Extrajudicial executions. A precedent that spreads. And that's when the story takes a darker turn. The documentary evidence is clear. Former Mossad agents have spoken. Declassified files confirm the details. Israel institutionalized targeted killing as an instrument of state policy. It was used against security threats. It was also used against political opponents. Against leaders of groups designated as terrorist organizations. One question remains unanswered: who will be held responsible? Subscribe so you don't miss what comes next.